€8.80. Germany's Social Democrats say that should be the legal minimum hourly wage. The minimum wage issue is one of the big differences between Chancellor Angela Merkel and her challenger, Per Steinbrück. Taxi driver Janet Popczynski often earns less than $8.50 an hour. What does she want from the next government?
More justice in wages.
Some European countries already have a minimum wage law, though the stipulated minimum varies. The result of Germany's imminent elections will decide whether the country institutes €8.50. Employer representatives say it would kill jobs in some economic sectors.
A blanket minimum wage will not mean more money for people. That would be desirable, but ultimately it will lead to fewer jobs and more unemployment. Because €8.50, the figure that's being talked about, is more than half the average German wage. That can't be the solution.
Union representatives see things differently.
Just the opposite is true. The minimum wage will lead to an increase in the average wage. That will fuel demand and thus more orders from companies. A minimum wage will lead to more jobs and more growth in Germany.
The next big bone of contention, tax increases on businesses. In recent years, every German government, regardless which party headed it, has lowered taxes on companies. But now the opposition is calling for an increase.
Those with broad shoulders have to carry more weight. We're glad the opposition is going here. It wants to increase the top tax rate to increase tax on assets. We'd like to see an inheritance tax and an increase in corporate taxes as well. That could bring more tax justice to this country.
On the contrary, we believe that burdens like an inheritance tax and asset tax will lead to lower tax revenues because companies will go bankrupt or leave the country and economic growth will slow.
Germany's energy turnaround is also expensive. Doing without nuclear power is raising the price of electricity. Private individuals pay higher rates than companies, and companies that use lots of energy get special rate reductions. The employer's representative says this is the right way to go.
Most of the companies that are granted exceptions have to compete internationally. And even after these waivers, they still pay a lot more for energy than their US or French competitors. That's why we need these exceptions.
More and more companies are granted the energy-intensive exception, although some of them aren't energy-intensive at all. We think these exceptions need to be reined in.
The taxi driver tells us she can't afford the rising price of electricity. And she adds,
Before they start their political work, politicians should have to spend a semester driving a taxi or working in the emergency room of a municipal hospital. That way they can really experience and listen to a cross-section of the population.
Janet Popczynski hears a lot in her taxi. Despite her frustration with politics, she is going to vote on September 22nd.